He's got a man. Harper going deep. Caught.
Happy Monday, everybody. We are now down to less than 12 days before opening kickoff against UTEP. And today I thought it would be fun to try to predict or who we think should earn those single-digit numbers that we're going to probably find out this week. And I'm going to break down some that I think are going to get it, and then some that I'm kind of questioning, see what you guys think. If these could get it, could it be them? Why not them? The first one I wanted to say, if Dylan Raiola is going to be your starting quarterback, he's probably going to have to get one. And so I'm going to say Dylan Raiola for sure. I don't know how many of you guys are going to disagree with me. And I think he takes number one. He used to have number one in high school. He switched from it, I believe he said, in Buford, Georgia, if someone else already had number one. So he went to 15. And one is available. So I got a feeling that's where he's going to head. He's going to take number one. Now, number two is already taken by a current player, Isaac Gifford. And rule says that they keep their number unless they lose it, unless they lose the number. I don't think Isaac Gifford has lost his number. Do you guys think he's lost the number? Make sure to comment down below what you guys think. If you think they've lost it, if you think it's going to be someone else, but I don't think Isaac Gifford loses it. So I think he stays with number two. Now, my number three that I feel like is going to get it, and I think he's going to have a monster year this year, and he's on the offense again, and that is Thomas Fidone. And I'm guessing number three, and I really don't know because right now there are 5 numbers available, and there's 5 players still here that had a single-digit number. And number 3 is available. So is number 4, 7, and 6, besides number 1 that I gave to Dylan. So Thomas could take something else, but it's actually who they go in order and who they pick. So I'm saying Thomas takes number 3. Now, number 4, I'm headed back to the defense. And I kind of went back and forth on this. And I actually thought about Jamari Butler. And Jamari Butler was another one I actually thought might be able to grab one. And the question is, can Jamari Butler grab one? Yes, I think he's done the job to do it. But there's so many players on the defense that could get it. And another one that I thought of that might get it, and we've heard a lot of talk about him. I mean, even Rules talked about he don't usually talk about freshmen, and yet he's talked a lot about him, and that's Vincent Shaver. And can Vincent Shavers get it? You're saying, well, he's a freshman, but Dylan Raiola is a freshman. Little typical, different to me on the quarterback, but I'm like, do you really give it to a freshman that, yeah, he's doing it in practice, but he hasn't really done it in the game? But then if you go back last year, no one really did it in a game because you can't really use the seasons before that because really none of them did well. So he could get it. And I ended up going not with Jamari Butler or Vincent Shavers. I almost did go with Vincent Shavers, but I thought we'd go to the secondary because he's a senior, probably our top corner that they keep talking about, NFL draft player, looks like. So I'm going to go number 4 is Tommy Hill. And I thought Tommy might take number 6 because remember Quentin Newsom had 6, and he still might. But I gave him number 4. All right, number 5. Number 5 is already on a player. That player is already who had it last year is here, and that's John Bullock. Now, did John Bullock lose it? I don't think so. And to be honest with you, when I go to these, there was 5 that already still had it. I don't think any of them really lost it. If you think one of them didn't do what they should, and there's only probably one I'm thinking some might say didn't, could lose it, or maybe you guys would pull it from him. But realistically, I don't think anyone did, because the 5 that are remaining that are still here that have the numbers are all on defense, and you can't really say the defense. No one pulled their weight on the defense to the point where they would pull their single digit. Now, my number 6, I'm going back to the offensive side again. And, I thought about the offensive line. We've already bragged and talked about the offensive line is our most veteran group. It's going to be one of our strengths. And I thought about, okay, what about Bryce Benhart? And I say that because, believe it or not, Bryce Benhart probably had one of the best years last year. And could he deserve it? And I almost gave it to him just because if you look at his PFI, he really did good. He shined, and he's expected to have a monster year. The other one I thought about on the offensive line was Ben Scott. He's the anchor. He's another senior. But what about Micah Mazuka? I think Micah Mazuka is probably the best player on our offensive line, and that's saying a lot considering the veterans we got coming back. I think he's the one this year you're going to see shine, and that crossed my mind. But I ended up not giving it to an offensive lineman. I came real close to giving it to him, but I went to where we went in the transfer portal to boost that wide receiver, and I went with Jamal Banks at number 6. I think Jamal Banks is going to get a number. And don't get me wrong, I think Isaiah Nair could get it too. And believe it or not, I even thought about the freshman. Again, another freshman. What about Ja'Cory Barney? How many times we've heard Ja'Cory Barney's name in these practice? How many? Almost every time I turn around, they're talking about something he's done. It's almost to the point I don't give it to Banks. I give it to Corey Barney. But again, he's a true freshman, hadn't done anything yet live, hadn't done anything in the game. Banks is a senior coming in. Thought about giving it to Nair. So I figured one wide receiver is going to get it. So I'm going to say my number 6 is Jamal Banks. All right. So then I go to number 7. And at number 7, I'm staying on the offensive side again. And if you notice last year, we didn't have many on the offensive side. Last year we had, who did we have? Kemp on the offensive side. We had Sims. I think we missed that one. I think they missed that one big time. You were talking about someone who should have had his number one, his single digit pulled. It should have been pulled after the Minnesota game. But I guess rule doesn't do that. But my number 7 is going to a running back. Who do you think it's going to be? Emmett could deserve it. Gabe, but I'm giving it to Ramir Johnson. I think Ramir Johnson gets that single digit. So now we're going to number 8. Number 8 is also a player that had it last year, and I do not feel like he lost it. Deshaun Single. Number 8 is Deshaun. I don't think he's lost it. I think he keeps it. And I don't think you guys think he lost it either. And my last one is the number 9, and this is the only one I thought somebody might say he didn't deserve it, that he might lose it. I'm looking at it this way. You didn't pull Sims's number. You ain't pulling anybody's number, and that's Ty Robinson. Number 9 was Ty Robinson, had it last year, and I think he keeps it this year. So I think that them are my 10 selections. But I did want to throw one name out there, and I don't think he's going to get it, but I want to know what you guys thought. Because even though as bad as let's put it this way, he didn't play really that well last year, but he was kind of thrown into the fire. He didn't really get the reps, the starting reps and all that, because I don't think they were planning to play him. He lost his receivers. He lost a couple of his running backs. And he's really improved this year. So who do we think that could be? Could Heinrich Haarberg get a number? But if you give Heinrich Haarberg a number, can you give Dylan Raiola a number? Can you give two of them, one to two quarterbacks? And if Raiola's your starter, how do you give it to Haarberg over Raiola? But do they need to be a starter to have a single digit? I don't think they do. And you know what? I kind of think, considering what Harburg did last year for us, he still won 5 of our games. And I know he had some fumbles in there, but it wasn't all his fault. Okay. Like I said, lost your top receivers, lost your top 2 running backs, even though Emma Johnson did an outstanding job and Nebraska still ran the ball very well. And then he ran the ball. He's the one that led the team in rushing. Didn't even play the first game. So I thought about Harburg and I thought he could do it, but I didn't. My final is I'm going to go in order. I'm going to start with 0. And obviously, 0's Nash. Nash is not getting his number taken away. And I kind of like that a defensive lineman has 0. I think they ought to give him double 0, to be honest with you. Just like they ought to give maybe Tide 0-9. But Nash is my number 0. So I got Dylan Raiola as my number 1. Nash, my 0. Dylan Raiola taking number 1. I have Isaac Gippert keeping his number 2. I have number 3. I had Thomas Fedoni taking that one. So I feel like Thomas will get one. I'm almost no doubt. All right. Now, I was indecisive really on where to go on the defensive side. I thought about Vincent Shavers and all that. But ultimately, I went with the senior and the corner, Tommy Hill. The only corner right now we really know is a set in stone out there. And considering where he came from when at the end where Frost was from last year to this year, I think he deserves it. Number 5 goes with the player that had it last year, earned it last year, and I think he keeps it because I think he's earned it, and that's John Bullock. I think this defensive side, the linebackers and them, I think they're going to have an outstanding. I know we lost Jamin Wright, but man, that means Vincent Shavers gets to play, and I think he's going to just be lights out. And then you got John Bullock. I mean, trust me, we got some talent there. They're a little young, going to get better as the year goes on. So John's got my number 5. My number 6, I gave it to Jamal Banks, the wide receiver. And I talked about giving it to Ja'Cory Barney. And if it went to Ja'Cory Barney, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I've been keep hearing his name, not only in wide receiver, but in kick returns and all that. And I think he's going to be electric this year. He's not. I don't think he's redshirting. I think he's going to be our special teams punt return, kick return, and you're going to see him out there wide receiver, and you're probably going to see him shine at the wide receiver screens when you got old Jamal Banks and Nair or even Bonner out there blocking for him, or even Thomas Fedoni out there blocking for him. So, and my number 7 is Ramir Johnson. And trust me, I thought about, do I give it to Ramir Johnson and give it to 2 wide receivers? Do I give it to Ja'Cory Barney and Banks instead of Ramir Johnson? Do I give it to maybe a Vincent Shavers instead of Ramir Johnson? That crossed my mind. There's a lot of defensive players already on here already. They had a lot last year. And I feel like this year they've made such an improvement. I just feel like it's going to be a little more even. You know, they're going to be like 6-4. So, and then my number 8 keeps it, Deshaun Singleton, who had it last year. And then Ty Robinson has number 9. So this single-digit numbers that I feel like that's who it's going to go to this week, and you're going to hear about it here soon. Rule said they're going to vote on them and give them out this week. So I got a feeling we're going to hear it probably in the next couple of days. I know we talked about doing the starters, the depth chart, probably by Wednesday or Thursday. But since they're going to start getting ready on Wednesday with UTEP, I expect it to come out probably before they start getting ready. So I think that the single digits are coming out around the same time. So that is mine. What is yours, guys? Who do you think did it? Did I miss somebody that maybe you thought might get it that I didn't even bring up? Tell me who your 10 single digits is. Do you think the players who already have it keep it? So just put that down in the comment below. So again, guys, thank you very much. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up, as this helps gets it out into the algorithm. I really appreciate it when you do that. So till that next video, go Big Red.